Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your friendly neighborhood coach Pruitt here with you once again with our daily YouTube video. This is for class January the 13th and 14th, Wednesday, Thursday, 2021. So you guys can see on the screen I have for you our schedule for today. We are going to begin our discussions on standard number 9, which is all about the United States Civil War. Now, we have been talking for the last several class periods about causes of the Civil War. We've looked at a timeline of events of when things happened, and then we talked about each of those events and how all of them were relevant, the important information about them, and also how they are going to start pushing the United States inevitably towards this conflict. So today, like I said, we will begin standard number 9. We will start looking at the U.S. Civil War. And I know that we've mentioned this a couple of times. We are going to move somewhat quickly through standard number 9. So if you are a fan of war history, if you've ever heard of the Civil War, studied the Civil War, and you like it, unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of time to dedicate to this conflict. Mr. Burrows and I want to make sure that we get to more modern things, especially World War II, since you guys did not have that last year in world history because of school shutdown and COVID and all the related issues in the spring of 2020. So we want to make sure that we get there this year in U.S. history. And so to do that, we're going to have to shave some time off in some other areas. And so this is one of those places we felt like we could make up a little bit of ground. All right. Next thing is a couple of reminders. There's some information that we want to make sure that you guys have, that you guys are reminded of. We will continue to remind you of these things every single day in class until they actually occur. So here are those announcements. Number 1, remember that next Monday, January the 18th, is MLK holiday. It is a day to celebrate the life and achievements of Dr. King, who I personally feel is one of the greatest human beings to ever exist. So we do not have school next Monday. So this is the first full 5-day week since the holiday break. But it is nice to know that we have a 3-day weekend upcoming and that we're off on Monday in order to celebrate Dr. King. Second announcement that we want to make sure and make to you guys, January the 27th is the official end of first semester. Grades are due. Teachers have to submit grades absolutely no later than I believe midnight on the 27th. That gives us a solid 2 weeks from today or from Wednesday the 13th of January to get any late, missing, or makeup work done, submitted, turned in, or redone. Mr. Burrows and I are going to report our grades on January the 26th. We are going to do it that afternoon, either before we leave school or maybe even during lunch. We are going to submit grades. The absolute, positively last chance that you have to turn in any type of work in order for it to be counted for your first semester grade is by lunchtime, 1 p.m. on the 27th. It is not fair to Mr. Burrows and I for people to be turning in work that is 6, 8, 10 weeks late and expecting that it goes in instantaneously and expecting that we put it at the top of our priority list, to be quite frank. We will do anything and everything that we can to help you guys. We will be happy to update the grades multiple times on that day should we need to do it. But the absolute deadline for you to get any first semester work in is 1 p.m. on the 27th. We have to report grades no later than midnight. We will report them early just to make sure that everything is done and squared away. So make sure, guys, if you are missing any work, if you have any late work, if you have any tests that are below a 70, we can remediate and retake those tests. We cap test retakes at a 70, but a 70 is better than something, that starts with a 4 or a 5 or maybe even worse. All that being said, remember too, guys, that our office hours, Monday through Thursday from 2:45 to 3:15. All you have to do is click the Zoom link like you normally would for class, and that will bring you into our office hours on those days at that time. If for some reason we do not let you in within a minute or two, please send us an email or please send us a remind message. It could be that we're on the phone with a parent. It could be that we're typing up an email. We might have other meetings that we are currently in. So Monday through Thursday, office hours 2:45 to 3:15. All you have to do is just click in on the same Zoom link for class. If you don't get invited into the Zoom within a couple of minutes, send us a message. We promise we will get to you. We are asking that on Fridays you make any scheduled appointments. Make sure that you schedule them ahead of time. Fridays are kind of a catch-all day for Mr. Burrows and I. We try to make sure in our office hours Grades are as updated as possible. We've sent any emails. We've prepared for the next week. We're happy to meet with you guys on Friday. We're just asking that you make an appointment beforehand so we know you're coming. We know what time you're coming. We can be, prepared and at our desk or on our computers to help you guys at that time. All right, enough said about all of that. A couple things that I want to show you guys today before we talk about what we're doing in this unit. So just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that if you go to your Canvas page, there are a couple of ways that you can get information about the content for this unit or for any unit. First and foremost, if you go down to the second section, the U.S. History modules, where we're always working out of, remember that we have the Tools and Resources button. If you click on that Tools and Resources button, we have a link to the Georgia Standards of Excellence. These are the standards and everything that's in the standards that we talk about in U.S. history. We also have our link to how to break down political cartoons. We will do this periodically throughout the year. It's a skill we need to practice on. That's how you get to those. The examples that we've given you since the first time we did it way back in unit number 1. We also have our unit number 4 resources here. And so you guys can see there's a little bit more for unit 4 than there has been for other units. We have our Google Slides presentations. And by clicking on this link, it will pull up a Google Doc with a list of all of these Google Slides and the title of the slide shows. So if you are working on your own a little bit later and you want to make sure and try to go over like who are the important people from the Civil War, there's a slide about it, or a Google Slides presentation. You want to talk about some Reconstruction stuff, you can see those are here. We have the beginning of the war, so on and so on, right? This would be the pre-Civil War events, standard number 8. So this is a resource that you guys can access anytime. You can use it anytime to either complete work, study, prepare, extend your knowledge about the Civil War, whatever the case may be. Also on here, we have a link to the unit number 4 playlist. Clicking on that link will take you into YouTube. And we'll open up for you guys our unit number 4 playlist, which includes the guided notes. It includes other videos, clips, Crash Course World Histories, anything and everything that's relevant to the unit. It's all here on this playlist, so you can click there to get to those videos. We also have guided notes for standard number 8. So if for some reason you didn't get the information about all of those pre-Civil War events that we discussed, you can find a printed version of those here, and you can also see that they are organized over here on the side so they can more easily be searched for specific questions or information. And then lastly, we have PowerPoints for standards number 9 and 10. So this is the best way that you can access this information. These are guided notes. These are resources that are here and available for you guys to use anytime that you want or need. Okay. One last thing that we want to remind you about just really quickly is that if you scroll down to the 3rd section of the Canvas page, right, which is somewhere we never go in class, right? So if you scroll down to the 3rd section, here we have a bunch of class links. So you can see there is a link straight to Infinite Campus. So if you don't know how to get to Infinite Campus, click the button. It takes you there. There's a link straight to our YouTube channel. There is a link straight to the Zoom and some other things, including the school's webpage, your school email, whatever the case may be. Okay? So all that being said, let's talk about what we're actually going to do in class on Wednesday and Thursday, January the 13th and the 14th. So we've talked about standard number 8, we've talked about the pre-Civil War events, and now we begin our discussion on the actual Civil War. We will be working on a taskwork activity today, and we will probably work on it for several days of class consecutively. So if you go to the unit number 4 module and click on the unit number 4 button, it's going to take you into that module. Of course, at the top of it, you have the taskwork sheet. We have already done the Missouri Compromise Organizer, and we have done the timeline activity. So what we're going to work on for the next several days is under the guided notes section of this module, the standard number 9 guided notes. So, as always, we don't really care how you set this up as long as you get the information. Our plan is to more quickly move through the content of standard number 9 by giving you guys fill in the blank or guided notes, and as we discuss things, you can very easily add to them, edit them, whatever the case may be. I am going to suggest that you either copy and paste from this read-only version and put it into a Word document or a Google Doc. You can always download a version of this, save it to your computer or device, and then it is yours. You can edit it, type on it, whatever you need to do. Or, of course, if you're one of our people who prefer to work by hand and use good old paper and pencil, that's fine. You just want to make sure that your paper looks like this. So you can use the read-only version in order to do that. So again, we will go through, we will look at these guided notes. It's a way that we can more quickly move through the content for Standard 9. We will definitely be working on this today. We will also work on it for a couple of days next week. Our plan is to have our test over unit number 4 on February the 2nd and 3rd. So just so you guys can put that kind of in your, in your headspace, put it on your calendar. If you're a person that likes to set alarms, whatever the case may be, we'll remind you of that plenty of times between now and then. But hopefully we can get through the content of the Civil War in about 4 class periods. That is our goal. All right? So let's wrap up and make sure that we know what's going on for today. All right, just one more time, remember the important announcements that we gave you guys about several different things. We finished standard number 8. We're on to standard number 9. So together today and for several more classes, we will be working on the fill-in-the-blank notes and the guided notes to more quickly go through the content. We have plenty of links on the YouTube Unit 4 playlist of videos that will deepen your depth of knowledge on the content. We'll be adding to those also periodically as we go through. And the biggest thing I want to remind you guys of is the end of first semester, which is January 27th, and a reminder that we will report grades originally on the 26th. The absolute last-ditch, last-second deadline to turn any work in is January the 27th at 1 p.m. All right? We love you guys. Hope everybody's safe, staying healthy. Thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you for working so hard in the virtual learning setting. We know that it is very different and very challenging in a lot of ways, but you guys just keep doing your best, and Mr. Burrows and I will keep doing the same. We'll see you guys in class, and see you next time.